Now, back to Silver Moments with Dr. Marsha Baltimore.
I want to talk today to my guest here, Cheryl Rich. She came here to learn because she's going to be a senior in real seniorhood in about 2 years, but she's starting and she wants to catch it up before she forgets what to do, because when you get older, you forget a lot, Cheryl. Cheryl Rich is her name. Would you say hello to the people, Cheryl?
Well, good morning, Dr. Baltimore, and good morning to the listeners. Always honored to just be here with you.
Thank you. What we're going to talk about now is a Temple University study of Parkinson patients who were matched. Now they're getting into specific types of studies. You see, they match them by age, sex, length of time they've had Parkinson's. They match the exact number of months and the stages of the disease that they are in. And the results show that the 8 patients out of the 16 who got training demonstrated a 34% improvement in their cardiovascular fitness. Now, the training was walking and bending over and things of that nature, but the measurement was cardio, was heart. So they showed a 34% increase in improvement of their cardiovascular fitness. That is to be admired.
That's remarkable.
And now get out and walk, everybody.
So very important. I'm glad you brought it up. I am definitely at the age that I care.
Yes.
Oh, most
Yes, you are.
definitely. Silver moments.
Well, I met you because you were in the swimming pool.
Ah, that's where we
And
met.
I do. That's where I exercise. I don't like bouncing on my hips, so I like that. But you can go anywhere you like if you don't like to swim. I love to swim.
I
And so
think the power of walking, you mentioned that something as we do it every day, as simple as walking.
Oh, that's right.
So
That's
powerful.
the easiest thing for people to do. They don't have to get wet. That's the whole thing. Well, I'm glad you came here, Cheryl, because you're going to help the people to understand. What do you like to do?
Well, the power of exercise. I've been practicing yoga for 10 years.
That's
and the
good.
term yoga, it scared me. I would always look on the magazines and see people in poses. I can't do that. So I call it stretching and breathing.
That's good.
And that's how I started. And then I met you in the pool a year and a half ago.
Right.
So I'm a late bloomer when it comes to the water, but it certainly the two.
Well, it's similar to yoga, but you have to breathe on time, or else you'll drown.
Whoa. The
You'll
swimming
get
has
full of
just
water.
taken me to a whole nother level. But
It's
the
good,
strength training that you get with yoga is just, it's a wonderful place to be. And you can do it anywhere
That's a
and
plus.
start at any
Well, that's
age.
good. You have that action. I think you're lucky to have that. Now, the next thing we wanted to talk about in here were the people who did. Wait a minute, I have to find it.
Oh, take your time.
St. Martyr's Press. There's another disease here called Alzheimer's. And that's a different disease from Parkinson's. Parkinson's, you're interested in your body because you tremor. People have it with a tremor and they have difficulty walking. But in Alzheimer's, it's memory, it's brain
I see.
difficulty. And they tried to create a theory. The man who created the theory was Dr. Peter Whitehouse, MD, and he wrote a book called The Myth of Alzheimer's. And what is the myth? The myth is that you can't overcome some of the problems. You can.
Let me see that book.
You want to see that book? The people can't see it, Cheryl.
Wow, I want to say the title
There you
on
go.
the book. You won't miss that. The letters are huge. I love it.
Yes, they are.
Right.
The Myth of Alzheimer's by Dr. Whitehouse, MD, PhD, both. And he talks about some famous people who had Alzheimer's in their lives. You'll know some of these names. Winston Churchill, for example. And Rita Hayworth, that gorgeous woman, had it later in life. And Perry Como.
Wow.
And Burgess Meredith. And Ronald Reagan, the President of the United States. And Sugar Ray Robinson,
Have all
the fighter.
suffered. Wow.
And others that are listed. Norman Rockwell, an artist. He had it also, but he could still draw at the end of it.
Wow. Very hard place to be, no doubt.
The memory is a big effect there. Have big effect. Now, what did they do? They
I'm
did
anxious
an
to know.
exercise study on people 65 years or older by reading the Annals of Integrated Medicine, and they found out that the people with exercise had a lower risk for dementia. Dementia means forgetting. Like, where did I put the keys? I don't remember, that.
I've had
So
those.
they had a lower risk of dementia when they exercised. Same as with the Parkinson's people.
Really?
And in Seattle, Washington, was the most famous study of all. 1,700 records of people over 65 were studied in the city of Seattle.
That's a big study.
And they found that those who walked, that was one of the variables, 3 times a week, just 3 times a week, proved to be 30% more healthy on a scale which measured the characteristics of dementia, which is forgetting and walking in baby steps, small ones. And the control group
So
did
when you
not
say walking in baby steps, you mean a shuffling movement?
Shuffling, that's exactly right. If they had a shuffling movement, they were considering on the way to dementia. They're going back to the baby steps.
We've got to
literally.
pick up the feet. Got to pick up those feet.
Right. So that study in Seattle was a breaker because they never had found out why the dementia would be affected by into the physical part of your life, but it is. And one of the reasons is because of the development of the brain. This gentleman, Dr. Whitehouse, Peter Whitehouse, MD, created a theory out of his study that I just read. And the theory is that exercise may increase the manufacture of neurons in the brain because more blood goes up there to create more neurons. And the memory center of the brain creates new capillaries. And so the person doing the exercise can remember better.
So the blood circulation is important.
Yes, and you get it by exercise. You have to oxygen in and
See.
carbon dioxide out. At least in the water, you have to do that.
You think you have to go into hours and hours of exercise. Is that true? What did you find?
No, half an hour a day, 3 times a week. I just told you that.
Half an
It
hour.
does it for you, yes.
Half an hour. I wanted to reinforce that.
Yes.
Tell us again and again because that is what's important. It
Yes.
doesn't
And
take a
any
long
exercise.
time.
It doesn't have, it's not specific to which exercise. They did a lot of exercises in these different studies. Nobody did swimming. I better, urge that because I'd like to see. But I have never yet seen a swimmer who's fat. I don't know
Tell me about
any of those. So anyway, that's what Dr. Whitehouse did for us. And he studied 1,700 records in Seattle. And he found that your brain creates more neurons if you exercise because the oxygen goes up there. So it's good to know.
Things we never think about while we're doing
Well, he
it.
did it. So now, I'll tell you what he scored against. He scored against persons matching for age with the onset of the disease. When did they start? What age were they? And sex, male or female. And he found that women scored up to 60% higher for physical activity, and men scored up to 50% higher. And I'll tell you the rest on mentality when we come back. You can
Even
listen to
sitting
Mickey
down, you can exercise. Even sitting down. Movement. That's what's
I don't know if
important.
you do it exercise sitting down.
Oh.
This is a special alert to all Americans.